Hey guys, Xarkun here on the PlayStation 4 with a World of Warships Legends video for you. This one is a battle in the Tier 6 German battleship, the Gneisenau, which, as the title of this video says, isn't actually a battleship. Secretly, she's a destroyer. Now, I'm not exactly serious about that, but this is a rather ridiculous game that I had in the Gneisenau, and you'll see why here very shortly. So, let's get started with that. So you see here, we are on the map Strait. We are spawned to the north of the Charlie capture point. And what I'm about to do here is something I wouldn't recommend you do in general on this map in a battleship, and that is I'm about to go and contest this capture point. And the reason I felt comfortable doing this was because, as you could see there just right now on the screen, there are only 3 ships by this capture point. One of them is that York, and then the other 2 are battleships. There is no destroyer on this side of the map. I think the only destroyer on the enemy team actually spawned in front of A. Possibly B, I'm not sure. And I don't know what it is because I didn't check the team roster to begin with, which is something you should do, by the way. But here we go. I citadeled that York over there pretty nicely, and I'm thinking maybe I'll head over and take on this King George V. And I notice he's sailing directly into the cap, and so is the Queen Elizabeth behind him. And the Gneisenau, of course, is pretty good as a close-range brawler type ship. So I'm going to take it into the cap and do some close-range brawling. Now, I don't know if this King George isn't familiar with the Gneisenau, and he doesn't realize it has torpedoes, but he doesn't seem to think I'm much of a threat. He's not even shooting at me, he's shooting at the cruiser behind me. Maybe he thinks that cruiser is a bigger threat to him, I'm not sure. I mean, the cruiser does have torpedoes, but so do I. And there they go. There's no way he can avoid these. They're gonna hit. They do. And he's dead. And now the Queen Elizabeth, who just saw what happened to her fellow monarch over there, realizes that I am indeed the biggest threat she faces right now. So she is going to attempt, I think, to take some evasive action here, because I'm lining up for a torp strike. Anytime a Gneisenau does this to you, you can know that they're about to shoot torps, and so I do. I don't know if she was trying to avoid them or trying to ram me, but either way, she gets hit for about 28k damage. Doesn't quite finish her off, and I, of course, am about to blunder right into an island, which I do, but one shot finishes her off, and she's dead. And just like that, 2 battleships are gone to a rather destroyer-like attack run from the Tier 6 German battleship, the Gneisenau. Now, realistically, is there anything either of those 2 ships could have done to avoid their rather tragic fate? And to that, I would say probably not, except they really shouldn't have come in and attempted to contest this cap so aggressively, especially with a Gneisenau coming straight at them. So now the rest of this game isn't too interesting. I do end up getting another kill, and we end up winning. And you see I just capped Charlie there, all by myself. And I'm thinking I want to head towards capture point B now, which is held by the enemy team. And there are a lot of ships there. There's a Tier 4 Omaha that somehow had the misfortune to division up into a battle with tier 6 ships, and I'm thinking this is a juicy target. I'm gonna go put some AP rounds into him, give him the good news. And there's that York I citadeled earlier, and I'm thinking maybe I can finish him off. At least I think that's the York I citadeled earlier. Could be another one, I don't know. But here I go, heading towards B, and this York is coming right for me. I'm thinking maybe I can torp him. So I'll line up, and I send off a salvo of torps in his direction. He's about to appear from behind this island. He probably doesn't even know I'm here. Takes a hit from somebody. Shots out. He's dead before the torps even reach him, which they probably would have. I don't know. Anyway, the B cap is now pretty much empty and ripe for the taking. However, I am still being spotted by somebody, and that could be the Omaha over there, who I take a shot at. He's on really low health, and my shots do hit him, and they do a couple thousand damage there, I think, giving me the high caliber medal. But somebody else takes him out. I guess maybe some shots from somebody else reached him right after mine. I don't know. But I'm still being spotted. So that tells me there's a destroyer somewhere around here, and I think he might be somewhere near these islands. But I'm going to sail in here. I'm going to cap this place, and there's torpedoes heading at that other battleship from the destroyer. He takes one, it looks like, but he avoids them. But I'm going to cap this circle right here, and hopefully this destroyer will show himself. I think it was an Akatsuki, and those are obviously incredibly stealthy ships. So it turns out I am not going to see him for the rest of this match, which is pretty much over. There's pretty much no way these guys can win. But what I do here, I think, is a pretty decent example of how to avoid torps in a battleship. And I don't know if you could do it so well with some of the battleships, but the Gneisenau is particularly maneuverable. So you notice I'm varying my speed, not really sailing in a straight line except for this little stretch right here where I am kind of sailing in a straight line, and I am about to pay for that because torps are about to pop up right there on my port side, and I start turning hard to port. I take one on the nose. Of course it causes flooding, so I damage con that pretty quickly after I'm sure I'm not going to get hit again. And I start heading out looking for this destroyer, because potentially this thing, whatever it is, Akatsuki I think, could kill me. I've got HE loaded in anticipation of finding him, but he can see me. I cannot see him, so I asked this cruiser behind me for support, but this guy seems intent on going over to A and not trying to hunt this destroyer, which is a little annoying, because this, I think it's an Akatsuki. I keep saying that. I don't know. You guys really need to check the team roster, especially in the beginning of the battle, to identify ships that could be a threat to you. I did not do that here, and that is, it's a bit of an error on my part. And there are some torpedoes from him, but because I'm not sailing in a straight line, I'm able to take some evasive action and avoid them. And at this point, I decide, forget it, I'm not going to ever find this destroyer. Might as well head to the last capture point held by the enemy team and finish off whatever that, I think it's a battleship, whatever that battleship is over there. But then the game ends. and pretty decent game, I would say. So if you like this video, please feel free to subscribe, and I'll have a lot more World of Warships videos coming for you. Thanks. See ya.